again, Flosstube friends. Welcome back to my channel, Pages and Stitches. That's spelled pages, the number 3 stitches, both here as well as on Instagram. My name is Kelly, and I'm finally bringing you my November update today. So today is Flosstube update number 25. It is Sunday, December 3rd. Sunday, December 3rd? I don't know. And so I'm finally bringing you my November wrap up. My lighting is a little bit different today because I'm filming at night. Normally I film in the morning when the sun's up and the lighting's good, but I had a busy weekend, so this morning I wasn't able to. Well, you don't care about that part. First, let me just say a big ol' fat thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you to those of you who are returning, and thank you of course to those of you who are here for the first time, just giving my channel a try. I hope you come back for more. But all the way around, just a massive thank you to everybody who is choosing to spend just a little bit of your day with me. I really appreciate you visiting and chatting with me in the comments and then connecting with me over Instagram. So yeah, just thank you so much for being here as always. I do have to apologize a little bit. Like, I've been, especially this past, like, I'm super behind in responding to everybody's comments. I've been very asocial for the last, I don't know, month and a half. My social battery at the end of this year is like depleted. It's just drained. So I've just been like trying to give myself some grace and just do what I know I need to do to be in a good headspace. And so yeah, if you've noticed that I've been a little bit quiet on the interwebs recently, it's just because, you know, just taking some time for myself. But I'm still stitching, I'm still creating, so I still want to show you what I'm doing. But thank you for being patient with me. As per usual, we are going to start out the video with my reading update. If you are new here, the Pages and Stitches is representative of my third passion, which is reading, so I like to go over what I have read for the past month. Firstly, I read Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, which is very shiny and sparkly. This is the sequel to Fourth Wing. I know a lot of you out there have picked up Fourth Wing and enjoyed Fourth Wing, and if you liked it, this is number 2. Everything else I read on my Kindle, so I will insert pictures of the cover photos. First, I read Sugar and Skulls by L.M. Terry, which is number 1 in that series. And then previously I read the book Axel by Samantha, which was the first in that particular series. And then this last month, I followed it up with the next 3 in the series, which would be Sawyer, Connell, and Logan. Again, the author is Samantha. So I have a lot of cool stuff to share with you. First and foremost, I have an FFO. Previously, I had finished Ophelia, the pattern Ophelia, which is a Mirabilia design, and I brought it with me to the Queen City Stitch Retreat hosted in Charlotte, North Carolina this past year by Amy of Fiber Arts Amy and Maggie of Kitschy Whips. And while I was there, I was able to meet Nora Corbett, and I even got her to sign my finished Ophelia project. And this past month, I was able to get it fully finished. So let's start by showing that. Alrighty, there she is, fully finished. What a beauty. I gotta tilt it so we don't see the ring camera. God, she looks great. I'm so excited that she's done. So here's a close-up of the frame. It's just like a dark kind of gray olive color with gold accents. And now, while I was there, Nora got on to me for not putting my initials on the finished product. So right next to her signature, I added my initials next to, which had there's the end date here. So now KST is there, and then Nora Corbett's signature is here. It looks so good. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I purchased the frame from Custom Frame Solutions online. which is a website I've purchased from frequently before. They have a lot of really good prices and a lot of discounts. I got this one 40% off, I think, for like a Black Friday sale or something. I don't remember. They have sales all the time. So yeah, and then it is pinned and laced around a foam core board in the middle, and this is a clear acrylic. It's not a glass, it's just an acrylic cover. And then I just put the paper on the back and the little hanging mechanism. So now she's done and she's ready to go on the wall. I love her so much. Beautiful. So while we're on the subject of framing and doing your own framing, I did want to go over a couple of things really quick. I actually had Rachel of Licking Floss reach out to me on Instagram and ask me a few questions regarding the supplies that I use whenever I do my own framing. And that was silly because it took me an embarrassing amount of time to realize that I was talking to that Rachel and not my sister Rachel. And I was just like, why is she messaging me over Instagram? Like, why isn't she texting me or calling me? And then I was like, oh, because it's a different Rachel altogether. So Rachel, Licking Floss Rachel, was who I was talking to. And I apologize for how awkward it was when I was like, why are you talking to me like this? I'm so sorry, Rachel, for how weird and stupid I sounded. Anyways, she was asking me about some of the supplies that I use whenever I do my own framing. So I thought if she has that question, surely maybe somebody else does, right? So I purchased the foam core separately. You can buy it in 1/4 inch thickness or 1/8 inch thickness, depending on which supply store you're getting it from. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them from Joann's. You can get them from the grocery store. You can, in the school supply section where they sell the poster boards, you can usually find foam core poster board in white and black. I have just an X-Acto knife that I use to cut it to the dimensions that I want. I want to stress that you want to use an X-Acto knife when you're cutting foam core, not scissors, because scissors will make it kind of like jagged and piecey because it's, it's a lot of layers to cut through with just a pair of regular scissors. So definitely use a sharp X-Acto knife or box cutter. And then when I pin my fabric on the foam board, I'll lay it out and I'll stick a pin on the top and a pin in the bottom and then in the middle of both sides, just to make sure I have it laid out the way I want it to. And once I've got it placed kind of in the center, honestly, I'm just eyeballing. You can of course check with a ruler. Then I'll pin maybe like every 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch out from the middle sections, the middle pins. I'll do a couple this way at the top and then a couple this way at the bottom, and then I'll flip it and do a couple up on the sides and then down on the sides, and then keep going. Like I won't do a full pin on, or a full side of pins on any one side. But the pins that I use are these here, which are sequin and bead pins. You can use regular straight pins. The reason why I prefer to use sequin pins is because they're shorter. So these are 5/8 of an inch long, as opposed to straight pins, which are like 1 inch or 1.25 inches long. They're easier to work with because they're smaller. But the other important thing is that they need to be stainless steel so that they don't rust and then mess with your project. So again, these can be purchased at any sort of big box craft store, Amazon, etc. So then after I have it pinned, then I'll flip it over and I'll lace it. The reason why I do both is because the pins pull it tight across the front, and then lacing will pull the fabric on the back together to have it lay flat instead of just like folding it over and taping it. So whenever I'm lacing, and there's a million tutorials on how to lace on YouTube, I'll tag some of the ones that I've used. I use a thick quilting thread. This is specifically a hand quilting thread, so the weight of it is super heavy. Like it's a thicker, it's almost like cord, it's canvasy in texture, The reason why I use this as opposed to like another sort of quilting spool is because of how sturdy it is. I can really tug on it and it's not going to snap the thread. And then the texture also helps to sort of grip the fabric where it's gone through and kind of pull it snug, pull it tight. So this, of course, you can get any same places, any craft store, Amazon, Walmart, Target, I'm sure. Now to cover the back of my pieces that I frame, I literally just use craft wrapping paper, like the brown paper bag textured wrapping paper. I have some archival quality double-sided tape, heavy duty double-sided tape. And it is important that it is archival because archival tape is acid free. So if it has, if it's not acid free, it'll yellow your work over time. So be sure you get archival quality tape, and then I'll run that over the edge of my frame and then lay my craft paper over top and press it down. Sometimes you can see how there's a little bit of like puffiness from the back where the fabric is. If you really want to, you can put tape across there to help secure it even more. And then I just trim it down so you don't see it on the edges. And then lastly, I'll add the hanging mechanism. So this particular hanging mechanism I bought in a bundle set from Amazon. I actually have two sets. So one of them has these little side tabs where you can hang the wire in between, and then one of them comes with the piece that you hang across the top that has like the sawtooth edge where the nails go that you would hammer into the fixture, whatever your preference is. I just kind of went with this one because it hanging with a wire and like a nail keeps this pushed more flush to the wall than with the other method. So I'll be sure to have links to everything I just talked about in the description box down below. And if you have any questions at all regarding framing your own pieces, then feel free to reach out. I will do my best not to mistake you for my sister. And no question is a dumb question, right? Because you don't know until somebody tells you. How are you gonna know until somebody tells you, right? So don't be intimidated. You can do it. I promise you, you can do it. All right, let's get into whips, shall we? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so the first whip that I worked on is this one here. This is Magical Creatures Calendar by Clouds Factory. I got it on their Etsy site, but you can also get it from their standalone website. And the last time you saw this, it looked like this here. It is being stitched on a 16 count lilac Aida, 2/1 full cross with the called for colors, plus the addition of some DMC light effects for an added sparkle. And here is where we are now. So I'm almost done, guys. 1 month left to go. So let's see, we added November, and I did want to make a change because the month title of November was not originally in this pink color. It was in, I think, this orange, which I had already used up here. So far, they've all been different, so I switched this one to be pink instead. And the magical creature for this month was fairies. So the DMC light effects is again in the border. We've got the green here in this little fairy, the blue hair in this one, and then the purple wings over here in this one. So I really like how on this side of the little vignette, there's leaves blowing, which is very fall. And then once you get to this side of it, it's snowflakes, because the next one is December and we're in winter, which I think is super, super cute. Yeah, love it. So the next one goes right here. It's another long one, and that will finish out the final corner. And the creature for this month is the Yeti. And then it also has a year or a date on it for the end of the calendar. So let me show you. Here's what December will look like. We have the little Yeti, the abominable snowman. Got our little pine trees back here, a little snowman there, and then December and the year. Now, obviously, this is not 2015. It'll say 2023. And then I'll be done. And this will officially be my next as well as my last finish of 2023. I'm not even remotely close to anything else that I'm going to be working on next month, especially since I've still got new starts planned. So this will be it, and I will be able to show it to you in my next video. The next project that I pulled out to work on was this one here. So this is one of the 3 projects that I wanted to get my hands on before the end of the year to complete my full collection of whips, to have gotten my hands on my full collection of whips. This is Luna Mystica by Bella Filipina. And I am doing her as a conversion. So for the most part, she looks the same except for her skin and her hair. Her skin and her hair is being converted so that she looks like a black woman, black mermaid, I should say. And then instead of, there's 2, I think there's 2 Karen water lilies that I opted to swap out for a similar DMC variegated, just because it was on hand. But I will insert the diagrams of the conversions that I used on the screen. The last time you saw her, which was a hot minute ago, this is what she looked like. It is being stitched on a 32 count Mediterranean Sea linen, 2/2 full cross. And here is where she is now. So since you saw her last, I've filled out her hair, at least this bottom swoop of her hair. And then I brought the floral moon up here. I think I stopped right about here. So this is all new and quite sparkly. You can kind of see that metallic shine to it. So there's metallic in these flowers, as there is down here. When I finish her tail, that'll have more of that metallic treasure braid in it. And then I did have to end up converting both the beads as well as the metallic thread that will be backstitched into her hair into coppery browns. So you'll see that later on as I get further along in the process and I start backstitching and beading. So yeah, just did a decent couple of days work on her. She's beautiful. And I'm very pleased with the way she's turning out with the conversion for sure. The next 2 projects that I worked on were both new starts. The first of which is this one here. This is Marty Bell's Enticing by Jeanette Cruz Designs. And it is a full coverage little vignette here of this garden door with a little kitty cat sitting in front of it. Super duper cute. So I am stitching this on an 18 count ivory Ada, 2/1 full cross. And then here is where I'm at. So this is the center here. And oh, you know what? That's not even true. I think this is actually like the center point. So it's a little bit, you know, the pattern is divided a little bit unevenly. So the center point is actually like right over here. And so we see the top and side of the door in the middle there, and then some of the brickwork around the back. And then you'll start to see some of the plants and the trees with the flowers coming in next to it. So it's just that, I mean, you can see next to my hand, it's just this tiny little patch of color, a patch of stitches, but there are so many colors in just this tiny little thing. Like these yellow flowers have, you know, 4 different colors of yellow, and I haven't even finished them all, and there's a bunch of different greens, and all of the brickwork and the door and whatnot have every brown under the sun. So it's gonna be so stunning when it's done. And I'm excited to put more work into this when I'm able to get it back out for my rotation next year. So this next one is tons of fun because I started it with Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher. She and I both had this pattern. I actually won mine from her in a giveaway on her channel. And that's this one here. This is Come to the Garden by Teresa Kogut. And she is doing hers in the called for colors, which look fantastic. But I have done a complete conversion of mine into a nighttime scene. I am stitching mine on a 36 count linen in the color Deep Cornflower Blue from To Die For Fabrics, 2/2 full cross. Before I show you how far I got, which isn't that far, I want to show you my colors. So here is my conversion. So a lot of the reds and oranges are now pinks and purples. The greens are now these sort of tealy turquoises. The browns are now silvers and grays. And then there's a couple of blues in there as well. So that's kind of what they look like. Yeah, so let me show you where I got. So I just have a modest little start. I started on this little motif, which is kind of in the middle. It's a little bit off to the side, but it's this circular motif that has these little flowers around the edges there and in the 4 corners, and these little leafy bits on the north, south, east, and west poles with these little purpley flowers in the middle. So, pull it back here. That blue is so pretty. So it's just, like I said, a little bitty start. We've got a lot of the colors used in this little motif. So we have both greens, purple, there's black in the middle, one of the peachy creamy colors, and then 2 different color pinks. So yeah, this was fun. It was fun to kind of see it all come together. I don't have any sort of like design software where I can map out what everything is gonna look like. I'm sure it exists. I just haven't gone looking for something like that. So it's a little bit of a surprise to me, which, you know, sometimes I like to live on the edge. And I think I like the result a lot. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this develops when I bring it out again to hopefully finish that motif and then get a few more in there. And yeah, this fabric is super saturated. It's also very soft and easy to work with. I am not sure about the color fastness. I have not tried to wash it, nor have I reached out to the To Die For fabric dyer to see what their care instructions are, but the initial impression is very good, very pretty. So that was it for stitching for the last month. Not too much, but still, you know, enough to feel like I made a difference for sure. I did, however, do some shopping, which I'm sure no one is surprised about, but I have some haul to show you real quick. We'll go over plans for the month of December, and then we'll sign off. So I don't know if anybody else does this, but I have a bad habit of going window shopping in Etsy and then putting stuff in my cart or favoriting it and then just leaving it there. I don't know. It happens. I get busy or I'm just not ready to buy right at that moment. And yeah. So then the seller will see that I've put it in my cart or I favorited it for later. And in an effort to get me to, you know, bite the bullet on the purchase, they send me a coupon and then I have no reason not to purchase it because it's discounted. So that happened twice to me last month. First was with this designer here. The designer's name is Raven Coven on Etsy, and I purchased this pattern here. This is called Wood Witch, and it is all one color. And I know you might be thinking, well, Kelly, Halloween's come and gone, and I know, but I'm not so much a seasonal stitcher, so I'll work on this whenever, you know? It's super beautiful. It looks like a wood carving, you know what I mean? Obviously, because it's a wood witch, but then we've got this gorgeous sort of hair and wind and leaves thing going on here. And then we've got the owl, and this is either a bat or some sort of night bird, and our cauldron. Now the color that it calls for is 310 black, but I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is stitch this with 3371, the dark brown color. And I'm thinking I'm gonna put it on my my mushroom stew fabric that I just purchased from Oak Crown Studios. I think that would look absolutely amazeballs on there. Amy, what do you think? So this was the first one. The next one that I purchased, it was the same deal. I had it favorited, got a little discount coupon, and then it's like, well, there's nothing holding me back now. So this is from the Stitchy Witch. Stitchy Witch's Etsy shop, and it's called Stitcher's Grimoire. Now, it's one of her newer patterns, but I haven't seen a lot of people showing this off or stitching it or any of that. And it is so cute that I just kind of can't believe that. So it's entirely stitching related. For example, we have the frog in the cauldron with the line through it. There's thread chicken. We have the perfect French knot, the finger stick, the accidental finger stick here, stopping time for your stitchy projects. This one's my favorite. This is called Devil's Pubes, and it is what we all refer to as Krennic. That's what that motif is referring to. All of these little things have like a little stitching connotation, and in the back on this last page she describes what each of them are, which is super helpful and cute. But yeah, I think that's absolutely adorable. I love it. This next one I actually found from a seller on Instagram because she has her own website, and I had purchased it was a stitch along, and I had purchased the stitch along early on, so only a few of the parts had come out. Now, since then, all of the parts have come out, and so I can finally show you what it looks like. And that's this one here. This is called Polaroid Princess Stitch Along, and it's not called Moana. That was just the name of the last Polaroid, so ignore the Moana part. It's just Polaroid Princess Stitch Along, and it is by Abbie Sue of Abbie Sue Designs. Here's her website. I will have all of that tagged down below. So she created these little Polaroid portraits of all of the, well, let me rephrase, of most of the Disney princesses, or heroines, I should say. So like, Mulan's not a princess, you know what I mean? And on top of that, it's hard to see because it doesn't want to focus on it, but underneath their names, she also has the year that those movies came out. So I actually sent her an email shortly after the last Polaroid came out, and I asked her if she could potentially design some alternates for me. Specifically, I was looking for Jane from Tarzan, Megara from Hercules, and Alice from Alice in Wonderland. And she said that it is her intention to do that for everybody who participated in the Stitch Along at some point in the future. Currently, she's in the middle of another Stitch Along with Disney villains, and it's like mugshots, Disney villain mugshots, with a similar design. So definitely go to her website and check out her stuff because it's gorgeous. And then once I get the access to the alternates that she's planning on designing, I'll have those printed out and I'll add it to the pattern because there's some that I think I don't care about. Primarily these last two, because I was in my 30s when these came out. I just didn't care anymore. And I could do without Giselle. And I've never even learned how to say this princess's name because I don't think I've ever seen The Black Cauldron. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I just cut those 4 out and make this whole thing smaller. I have no idea. These next two, I have to blame Maggie from Kitschy Whips for because she's the one who turned me on to this website, this designer, and that would be Make It Pink. I bought 2 patterns from their website. And the first one is this one, speaking of Disney. This is Megara. And these are Art Nouveau style princesses based on the artwork by Hannah Alexander. And this is fully licensed artwork from the artist. She is getting paid for this. And it has been converted into these beautiful, massive, fancy ladies. As you can see up here, this is being stitched on an 18 count and it's almost 2 feet tall. It's ginormous and it is backstitched and beaded and there's tons of colors. As far as I'm aware, everything has a model that has been stitched for it as well. So if you go to the website and you see a pattern you like, in the images to scroll through, you should see different model stitches of whatever pattern you're looking at, which is really cool because not every designer has model stitches to show. But yeah, Megara's got beads all over her. She's got metallic threads. There's even an option. You see how there's chains here on her pattern? There's even an option and instructions for how to make those real chains. Not just like cording you make with metallic thread, but like actual chains, which I think is just so cool. And then the other one that I got is my girl Ariel. Love her, love, love, love her. So she has this beautiful facial expression, and of course she's in a mermaid style gown, because duh. Please ignore the watermarks. And she's got her beautiful seashell necklace and all of these beautiful hair ornaments, and it's the same thing with her. There's an option and instructions for how to put actual chains instead of just beadwork and metallic threads and everything. And then the dimensions are here. It's stitched on an 18 count and it's 22 inches high. These are tall ladies for sure. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. So I think Maggie's doing Tiana or maybe Moana. She's doing one of them from Make It Pink. And so I'm jumping on that bandwagon with these two ladies. So before we wrap up haul and go on to plans for the next video, I just wanted to show you this real quick. So this last November, month, literally a month ago now, the first weekend of November, I went to the International Quilt Festival in Houston, Texas. And of course, for the most part, that is a festival for quilting related content. But they do have quilting adjacent booths there with other crafts. Cross stitching is one of them. And there was a booth that I saw last year, but I actually stopped at this year, and it was called So Exquisite. And it's a home industry development project of the Love One Another Foundation. This charity employs women from Southeast Asia by having them stitch in hand cross-stitching projects. Those projects are then sent to this company stateside, sold stateside, and then the money goes back to the women in Southeast Asia to help them earn a living and support their families in impoverished areas. So this is a really cool charity. I did get a couple of pictures of the booth that I will insert here. One of them is of some of the women who, it's photos of them doing their stitching in hand. And they were selling these little things here. These are little pillow ornaments. Teeny tiny little ornaments. You can see there's the hanger there, and then on this one. And they're little cross-stitched ornaments. And you can see from the picture there was a ton of them to choose from. This one, and these look to be stitched on 18 count. I think that's an 18 count. Ada. And y'all, their stitching and their back stitching just looks super good. Right? I mean, they literally very good. But also on the back wall of the booth, there was fully stitched lavender and lace fancy ladies, fully stitched Mirabilia fancy ladies, fully stitched dimensions kits. But we just found a couple of these. Mom picked up some for Christmas gifts for her friends, and I'm just borrowing 2 of them to show you the product. But look, even on the back of the card, they signed their names, who stitched them. Isn't that so cute? Oh my goodness, I just love it. So if you want to learn more about this organization, I will have their information linked down below. There is a website that I will include down below, and as well as the contact information from the person who runs the organization. So if you have any interest at all in checking this out, definitely go do that. There was a little Christmas tree on the wall where somebody made an advent calendar with these little dudes. That's so cute. I love it. Cross-stitching around the world, guys. Okay, let's go over plans real quick, and then we'll sign off and get back to your regularly scheduled programming. The last project that I have in my stash of whips that I've yet to put my hands on this year is this project here. This is Mushroom Sampler from Cute Patterns by Maria, right? Yes, Cute Patterns by Maria. So I'm going to bring this out and work on it some more. I've loved working on this project and I've missed it terribly. So I'm so excited to get to put some stitches in this for the next month. And then I have 2 other projects that I'm bringing out to be new starts. And the first of which is this one here. This is a DesignWorks kit called Friendship Teapots. And it says, while the pot boils, friendship blossoms. So it's this little teapot sampler that I really think is precious. And then the other one that I have slated as a new start is this one here. This is Winter Solstice by Joan Elliot, which I think I may end up having to buy the Cone of Doom, the 310 Cone of Doom for this one, because obviously this is a lot of 310. There's a little bit of this gray color in the pattern, but for the most part, it's 310. And of course, the other project that I want to work on and finish is my Magical Creatures calendar by Clouds Factory. And then I'll be done with my new starts every month this year. And then when I get into January 2024, I'll start focusing on one big focus project every month until it's done, while also just rotating through the remainder of my whips. And then once that focus project is done, I'll bring out the next oldest whip, and that'll be my next focus project, and then continue and continue and continue. And, you know, hopefully only do a new start when I've had a finish. Maybe with the exception for special occasions like my birthday. So we'll see. That's the plan. And so far I've been able to stick to it. So that is it, guys. That's everything. I filmed these 2 videos out of order this weekend. I filmed my Quilter's Corner first because I had to take 2 projects that I had featured in that video to a long arm appointment, so I needed to get those done first. So I will kind of be posting these out of order, but you know, whatever. That makes no never mind to you guys probably. But if you are at all interested in quilting, keep an eye out for that video, because that is going to be going up roughly about the same time as this one. And I think that's it, guys. I think that's everything. Yep, I'm pretty sure. So if you guys have any questions at all, definitely reach out to me either in the comments or send me an email, or reach out to me on Instagram, and I will be doing better about responding to these things. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I was very asocial for a while, antisocial, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, so I need to get caught up on everything, including correspondence with you guys. But other than that, we are done for this month's update. So yeah, I hope you guys had an excellent Thanksgiving if you celebrated Thanksgiving. I hope you have an excellent Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Yule, any other holidays in December that I'm forgetting. I hope those are all great for you. And if you don't celebrate any of them, then I hope your December is just as pleasant. And that's it. I'll see you guys again in a month.